Hi, I'm Mindy Yoshikawa here with Sunny Studio Stamps, and I'm here to share our new Sweet Treats bag dies. These come with everything you need to create 3 fun treat bags, and there's a little note here to clip here, and that's I just want to clarify that's the paper, not the die, and that helps you fold the flaps a little better. So up first we have a bag that you can create with a flap, and you can either attach it with a magnet or this little thing, and that's a separate piece that gets added on to the basic bag shape. It also comes with the pieces you need to cut out a little handled bag, so it has the dies there spaced perfectly from the top, and then also this big handled bag die with the not separate handles, but this die piece that you'll use, and I'll share how to do that here in just a moment. So these little flaps have this is the flap die, and then it has these 2 little pieces that I'll show how to use it, but it has a curve on the edge that allows you to perfectly align it with the edge of the flap, so you don't have to guess where to put it. And then in the same way, this little notch has, you line it up with the edge of your cardstock so that it's just in just the right spot each and every time you go to use it. So let's get started here. So these were designed to be fitting perfectly on a 6x6 piece of paper. So it takes 2 sheets to create 1 bag, and I've chosen 2 prints that I think will look good if you can see the print on the inside of the bag as well the outside. So through the magic of television, I've already die cut these, and I'm going to show you how to fold them. So first I'm going to start by just clipping in my cardstock to match that fold there. So just to make it a little easier for you to see, I'm going to fold it, and then I'm going to just notch out that little spot. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. And you can do it in a little V like I did, or just go straight down like this one here I did. So now I'm going to speed up the video just a little bit, and I'm going to use my bone folder to fold all of these. And before I move too far forward with actually folding them all up, I'm going to cut out a handle for this particular bag. So I'm using that like elongated oval shape. And I'm using this little ruler by Misty that is just a really good versatile ruler. So this bag is 3.5 inches wide, so I'm trying to find the center, and I kind of struggle doing this on camera, but I'm trying to line it up. I decided to flip it over here, but I'm trying to line it up so that it's the same distance away from the edge of the cardstock on both sides, so it looks uniform, and I'm trying to find the center here. In the end, I decide I'm going to go 1/4 inch from the edge, just to give myself a little bit more design room for the how I decorate the bag later. Just don't want to go too close to the edge, or it might easily tear off when you're using the handle. So I'm using a little micropore tape here, which doesn't leave any indentations when you run it through your die cutting machine. So I'm just running it through the die cutting machine. And I'm going to repeat that process for the other bag as well, or sorry, the other side of the bag. I can't say enough good things about this little ruler. It comes with both, I think, a 12-inch and a 6-inch, or maybe they're slightly oversized and it's a 14-inch and a 8-inch, I'm not sure. But it's just a really good versatile tool. I find myself reaching it for it a lot. So now here I'm going to create the folds, and for this particular one I'm going to choose to do these little diagonal folds. For some of the gift bags you can leave them unscored, but it kind of, when they're squeezed together along the top, it makes it easier to use these 2 handles together with one hand. So here you can kind of see my bag starting to take shape. Now I'm going to use some like score tape here on the edges. I just find it sometimes easier to do it that way when I don't have to have the sticky immediately there, so I can kind of assemble my bags without the sticky involved. I apologize. Some of the parts of this video I didn't realize I was going off camera, so I'm a little not utilizing my space very well. Excuse my head here. So I'm going to start by filling one side, peeling that off, and then I'm going to fold the other side onto it so you know that it's symmetrical. And this is how you fold it here. I'd add a little adhesive there and another strip along the bottom to make it extra strong. But I'm going to hold off on actually adhering it for now because I want to be able to decorate it while it's flat. And here I've created the same idea with this time I'm going to create a bag with the flap. And I just wanted to walk you through how that's done. So I apologize if some of this is a repeat of the other folds. So I decided at the last minute I wanted to make this a windowed bag. So I'm using our Fancy Frame square dies. And I cut out a little thing, and I'm going to use some graphics clear acetate as to fill my window. So this would be perfect for candies, or even it's big enough to fit a couple cookies in at Christmas or anytime. It'd be really cute for Valentine's Day. And so I'm just adding a little bit of score tape here, and I'm trying to use that scratch piece of acetate, which was sort of narrow, and I didn't have room for another thing of line of the score tape, so I'm just using a little glue, liquid glue, to hold it tight there. I'm going to peel those off, and I'm just lining up that acetate. It just creates a really professional looking little bag here. Do my little snip for the fold. And I apologize, some of this is off camera, but what I'm doing is I'm using the center of that ruler, so 1 3/4 over. I'm going to put the center of this die along the edge, and in a minute I'm going to flip it over so you can see where I've put it. But by having this die having an elongated margin, it allows you to place it in just the right spot so that the mechanism will work. And then I'm going to use this little flap. I did it out of a different color, partially to add interest, but also because I only had 2 sheets of this heart pattern in my package, and I wanted to show how you can just use another one that coordinates. So I'm lining up the edge of that curve, and my ruler's off the camera, but it was showing me the center part of that. And here I've cut it. And I just wanted to test it and make sure it lines up in the center. You can kind of tell because they're both the same width. And there's another little die here if you don't want to see, when you cut it out of a contrasting color, if you don't want to see that contrasting color pop out, you can cut a little semicircle to fill that gap so that it looks more uniform on the front. So I'm kind of just trying my best to line it up here. In the end, I didn't get it exactly perfect, but I don't think it's really that noticeable. I forgot to allow for the fact that my die wasn't right on the edge. So I'm going to continue here with the assembly of my bag. Try to speed it up here. Now, sometimes when you fold pattern paper, you see that white core, which always sort of drives me crazy. So I'm using a little barn door distress ink to just ink up the edge just lightly. You can't even tell, but it makes it look like it was never creased with that white core. So after I've assembled everything, I'm actually going to decorate them off camera. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I was losing daylight hours, so I had to come back and finish the video the next day. But I really wanted to get these ready and show you how to assemble one from beginning to end. And then I'll show you a bunch of other ideas I created using the dies. Just inking those last little bit. I really like seeing those little Santas. I decided to incorporate those into my design for my thing and decorate it with Santas, so it kind of mimicked the feel of the inside. Now you can just add this little flap to the back of the box, and I was about to do that, but I wanted to make absolute sure that it would still close. I didn't want to put it too low, and I'm about to struggle with it here. It's really not that difficult, but I was just having trouble getting it in the groove. My paper didn't want to go down into that little slot there. Just pinching it tight so that my glue is adhered, and there it is. It's a working thing. So at this point, as long as you haven't adhered the bottom flaps, you can decorate it while it's still flat, and it will lay flat, which is really nice. You can get a bunch ready to go, and then you can even like mail them. And yeah. This is a really good, nice size, not too small. So here I've come back with my decorated box. I added some stamped images from our new Santa Claus lane, and I've added some score tape to different spots. Now I went a little bit crazy. You do not need to add this much adhesive, but I thought I wanted to make it extra strong in case I put some heavy items in there. So I'm literally having like every square inch covered in tape. I'm gonna kind of stick my hand down there and push down on it so it's stuck good and tight. And there we have it, a finished box. So much fun. Here's another box that I finished decorating, that first box that I created. I stamped it with our Scenic Route stamps and also our Hugs and Kisses. And then for my sentiment there, I used our Merry Sentiment stamps. And I created a Halloween version with that same flap. This time I used our Happy Halloween stamps, and I cut a double circle, a nesting circle, and I just clipped it there on the back. That went off the edge. I just love that extra detail. And for these dies, we also have what we call our Sweet Treats House add-on, which comes with a door, a window, an extra flap for the roof, the bow and the wreath and the little berries that can go for the flower box or the wreath, and yeah, and then also these shingles. So it comes with a couple scallop dies that are offset, so you can create the shingles in this. I have a couple examples using that. So here's those scallops that have been offset, and I used our our gingham jewel tones for that. And for this one, I used a magnet, so it just kind of magnets closed. That way, I didn't have to worry about that little flap showing. And we have some flower. It comes with a flower box and flower dies. Just a really fun everyday way to use these. And then I created a Christmas version with that wreath, and this time I put acetate on my windows and had Santa peeking out, and I'm using the trees there from our seasonal trees. And the scallops I decided to run around all four sides. I love how that little layered bow looks for the wreath with the berries. And I've used some eyelets to give it a real finished look in those holes. They were designed to fit the larger eyelets, and I've used some twine or some cording I had that I knotted. And I created one last box with our wraparound box. So these sweet treat were actually originally dreamed up to decorate this box, and then I decided I wanted a bag too. So anyway, just a really fun way to use them. There I used a separate window for the door, so there's more than one way you can use it. And for my roof line, this was all one piece with the blue, and I wanted to create black at the top for the roof. So I just used some black soot distress ink, and I masked it off there and rubbed on some distress ink. And then there's a separate cardstock piece that's stitched that I put over the top to give it a nice finished look. Here I am just showing it's blue on the inside and black on the outside. Oh, and then I also used this little extra scallop that was supposed to be for the roof, but it looks also really cute as a grass or shrubbery around your house. So here's a look at our boxes with the pretty pictures. I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll come by our blog and see all the other cool things I've been doing this week in honor of our birthday blog hop. Thank you for hanging with me. Bye-bye.